Hi, everyone. Are we live? Can you hear me and see me? Just let me know in the chat if you can see and hear me. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to hang out, have a little Q&A time. So if you have any questions for me, let me know. And otherwise, I have my trusty notebook here with a bunch of FAQs, and I'll go through those if you guys don't have questions. So maybe you can say hi and maybe where you're from. People are already starting to do that. Hi, Mark and Sky, Peridot, Darlene, and Janice. Welcome. All right, I'm really excited to be here today and to chat with you guys and hang out. Oh, why did I shave my hair? Okay, I answered this actually in our previous live stream video, I believe, but I basically shaved my hair because I wanted to. I wanted to have really just a simplified way of living. So I got rid of it. I've shaved it before. I've lost it to cancer before, so I knew what I was in for. And I also donated my hair. So I actually have a full head shaving video on the channel too, if you want to check it out after this. You can go take a look, and I go through the whys and show you guys how I did it and everything. My husband Chris, helped me, and my son Riordan had really long hair, and he cut his hair short and donated his hair as well. Hi, Deborah, Marlene, Apple. Oh, this is really cool. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, let me know in the chat, and otherwise I'll just go to my trusty notebook here. I have a bunch of questions about the Mary's Mini Challenge. I also have quite a few questions about weight loss, and then questions about just general kind of plant-based lifestyle questions. So I guess I'll start just kind of going through them, and if you guys have any questions along the way, feel free to ask questions in the chat, and I'll try to keep an eye on it and keep up with it. I probably do have a slight delay on my screen versus what you guys are seeing. I'm seeing more people coming in now. Leah, Karen, Tina, Amy. Hi. Hi, everyone. So glad you're here. For weight loss, did I use regular peanut butter on my oatmeal? Did I? In the beginning, I probably did. Um, I don't remember honestly if I used I don't think I really used much peanut butter in my oatmeal in the beginning or now even. Yeah, I did a lot of like apple oatmeal, like apple cinnamon or bananas with cinnamon or berries, things like that. So I didn't tend to use a lot of peanut butter. I did eat peanut butter though, like on toast and stuff like that during my weight loss, especially in the beginning. So yeah. Hi, Amber. All right. So I'm going to get started with some of these Mary's Mini questions that I've been having. So in case you're new to the channel or you're not sure about the Mary's Mini situation, hi, I'm Meg, and I've lost 80 pounds and completely regained my health on a plant-based diet. And from October 1st to October 7th, I'm hosting a Mary's Mini Challenge, which is basically you pick a starch, you eat that starch along with a bunch of non-starchy vegetables, one fruit per day, and that's what you eat for, in our case, 7 days. So I'm going to answer some questions about that. All right, so why am I doing a Mary's Mini? I've had a few people say, well, if you're done your weight loss and you're already kind of doing the whole food plant-based thing, what's the point? Why are you doing it? I thought it'd be really fun to try a challenge. I've been wanting to do one for a while, and I thought it would be really fun to do one on the channel. So to do it in community with you guys, and so we can exchange ideas and have some back and forth with it and talk about meal ideas, tips and tricks, how people are doing, what different things people are eating depending on what starch they chose and things like that. So yeah, I just thought it'd be a fun way to connect, and it'd be a fun challenge for me to kind of mix it up and simplify, but also test some new things with potatoes. Just checking on the chat box here. Starting Mary's Mini tomorrow. That's cool, Marlene. Good. I hope it goes well. Have you picked a starch yet? Let us know. And then I've had a few questions about what things are allowed on a Mary's Mini. I will say that I'm not an expert on the Mary's Mini Challenge by any means. This is my first Mary's Mini, and I'm trying to follow it, as closely as possible. But if you're curious about the specifics, I absolutely recommend going to Dr. John McDougall's website. I have links to his website and the information about the Mary's Mini guidelines in all of my Mary's Mini Challenge videos. So if you go back and watch any of those, or if you just go and check in the description box, there are links there that you can check to get to Dr. McDougall's website really easily. But I will answer briefly these questions about what's allowed and what's not. So is tea and coffee allowed? Yes. Yes, it is. Are plant milks allowed? So no, plant milks aren't really part of the equation. That being said, I think a splash of plant milk in your coffee or your tea is probably not a big deal. It depends how stringent you want to be with the challenge. For me, if you want to make, a tiny tweak that will make it work for you, I say go for it. I'm all for making things work and doing what works for you. How did I figure out how much to eat? Um, it took me a while, honestly, to figure out my hunger and fullness cues, and with changing my lifestyle and switching things up. So I tried really hard to cue in to when I was hungry, I would eat, and when I was full, try to stop. But that did take some time to sort of get the hang of. And when I did start to eat a 50-50 plate, um, again, it's just I ate when I was hungry and stopped when I was full. So if I loaded up my plate with whatever starch or other items I was eating, because I don't fully follow the 50-50 plate method. I do kind of a modified version that works for me, because I eat tofu and soy products and things like that. Um, but yeah, if half of my plate is usually greenery, some kind of green vegetable, broccoli, leafy greens, stuff like that. So yeah, just trying to really cue into when you're hungry and when you're full and going with that. I hope that answered your question. Did I weigh myself before starting? Before starting the Mary's Mini? Um, no, I didn't. Maybe I should have. That would have been smart. Maybe I'll weigh myself today or tomorrow morning. I'll weigh myself, see if it makes a difference. Um, Baked potatoes and marinara sauce. Yum. Sweet potatoes. Cool. All right, I'm going to keep going with these questions unless you guys have others. Is corn allowed on the Mary's Mini? So corn technically would be classified as a starch. So when you're first picking your starchy item, it could be potatoes, it could be sweet potatoes, it could be a bean of some kind, or it could even be corn. So corn wouldn't count as like your non-starchy veg. It would be your main starch if you chose that. I also had someone ask if edamame is allowed, and edamame is soybeans, so no, it wouldn't go into the challenge. I also had someone ask if jam counted as a condiment or fruit, and honestly, I think that's a bit of a gray area. I think I would classify it more as fruit because the guidelines are a little bit stringent about one piece of fruit a day. But if you wanted to use jam as a condiment on something, I'm sure you could make that work and it wouldn't be a huge deal breaker, wouldn't be a huge deal. Oh, so Marlene's just clarifying that a 50-50 plate is half of your plate as starch and half non-starch. That's correct. Yes, that's the method that is recommended by Dr. John McDougall for maximum weight loss. So many people follow that and love that and do that. And I kind of do it, but just a slightly modified version to include some other foods that I like to include in my diet. Have I ever had iodine issues? No, I haven't. That's interesting. No, I haven't had iodine issues particularly, so I'm not I wouldn't be sure what to recommend. It sounds like you're doing what you should be doing in terms of having a supplement, having seaweed, but it hasn't changed much. That's interesting. I'd recommend talking to a plant-based doctor and see if they have any other recommendations that might be helpful. Maybe you just need to be doing the supplements and having the seaweed for a longer period of time and see how it goes over a longer time frame. Maybe that maybe that would help. If I'm doing salads, what am I using for dressing? So I Since starting the challenge, I made my smoky mustard dressing. I actually did a little reel Instagram thing for it yesterday, and the recipe is on my website as well if you want to take a look at that. But it's super simple. It's just mustard, maple syrup, smoked paprika, and water. It's very, very easy to just throw together. So that's what I've been doing the last couple of days to get started. And I'd love to hear what other people are doing for salad dressings. I also like to just keep it really simple, do like salsa with lime juice or something like that. Really easy. Oh, so Catherine, for the 50-50 plate, you eyeball the plate. So you don't have to measure the potatoes or measure the starch and measure the non-starchy vegetables. It's just a visual plate representation. So you literally just fill half of your plate with your non-starchy vegetable and half with your starch. You eat it. If you're full, great. If you're not, you load up 50-50 again. Amber's saying a multivitamin with a higher iodine milligram. Okay, so that's a suggestion that might be helpful. Cool. All right, moving on with some more questions. This is so fun. I love hanging out with you guys. Are you allowed to have snacks on the Mary's Mini? So they don't particularly specify whether you can have snacks or not. They just sort of give the general guideline of, the starch, the non-starchy veggies, and one fruit. So I would think that if you're hungry, go ahead and just eat either more potatoes or whatever starch you've chosen with your non-starchy veggies, or have your one piece of fruit. Um, yeah, those can be some good things. I've been having my mashed potato balls or carrot sticks or other raw veggies, things like that. So that's been good. I've also had a couple people ask if I'm only eating what was featured in my batch cooking video. And no, I'm not just eating those things. That was just my starting point for the Mary's Mini to kind of get me going and have some things prepped. I have eaten a lot of those items for sure, but I have also used the steamed potato in different ways, like put it in the oven as for making fries, for example. I made hash browns with other potatoes that I had on hand and things like that. So I'm not just eating what I featured in the batch cooking video. That was just my starting point and just to give you guys ideas and stuff. Just checking out the chat at the same time here. Nice. You guys are talking about some yummy dressings. Good stuff. Cool. Where was I here? I've been asked, what am I missing? If there's anything that I'm missing during the challenge that I'm sort of upset about, or what's kind of the first thing I'm going to eat after the challenge is done. And I would say the things I kind of suspected that I might miss, I do miss a little bit. So having my oatmeal in the morning, for example, I miss that. Eating more fruit throughout the day, although it's been a bit easier than I thought it would be. So that's good. And this morning I kind of wanted to make waffles or pancakes. Usually we do like an oat and banana waffles on the weekends. And so I was kind of missing that as well. But yeah, I'm really excited to just do the challenge, have fun with it, experiment, play with some recipes, and then once the challenge is done, go back to my beans and my whole grains, and I'll be excited to eat those kinds of things. Even sweet potatoes, I kind of miss those as well. So yeah, you guys let me know if there's anything that you're missing during the challenge, or if you're having fun with it, or how you're kind of feeling. I think everyone sort of has a different mindset and a different take on it, so it'd be interesting to see how you guys are doing with the challenge and what you think. How would I suggest someone getting started on a plant-based diet to get started without being overwhelmed? Um, it really, really depends on you and your personality and also your family dynamic and things like that. For me, I made the decision to go plant based overnight, and I felt really strongly that I wanted to do that. And so it was overwhelming because I wasn't really sure what to eat or how to go about it because I didn't like vegetables. And I've talked about this on the channel before. I wasn't really sure where to start. So my best recommendation is to start with foods that are plant-based that you already enjoy. So things like smoothies, oatmeal, pasta, chili, stir fries, things like that, and just take the animal product out and maybe replace it with beans or tofu or other things. Use plant milks instead of dairy, stuff like that. So that can be kind of a good way to ease in. That's how I sort of got started. And you don't have to go 100% all at once either. I made that decision to do it, right away and do 100%, but you don't have to do that. You can make a more gradual approach and kind of step by step remove things and focus on what you're adding to your meals into your diet rather than what you're taking away because it can feel like, oh, I'm not eating meat anymore and I'm not eating chicken, I'm not eating fish, I'm not eating dairy, la 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 la, all the things. But if you think about all the things that you're now going to enjoy and you're going to try different things and try different vegetables and whole grains, and you're going to find foods that you didn't even know existed. So it's really fun. And it's a fun adventure. And if you sort of shift your mindset into one of finding new recipes and keeping it simple but having fun with it, can be a little bit easier to get going. What is the one spice that helps give potatoes more pizzazz? Ooh, that's a good question. One spice. If I had to only pick one, it would be smoked paprika for sure. But there are lots of great spices and mixes and seasoning blends and things like that. I also love to use everything bagel seasoning. It's really yummy, really good. Oh, yeah, and I do have a video about how to go plant-based. I'll try to link it in the description box after when the replay is up. But you can also search for it on the channel afterwards. You enjoy the channel and my recipes. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Mind shift to what you're adding. Catherine's agreeing. Yeah, yeah. It can be a nice way to sort of turn it into a positive, right? Instead of just thinking about all the things that you won't eat or don't want to eat or don't want to include. Yeah, it's a fun way to sort of shift things up and make it more fun. Cool. Let me know if you guys have questions, and otherwise, I'll just keep going through my list here. Hi, Kelly. Welcome. All right. How am I making it work with my family? So, if you're new to the channel, you might not know that I do have a husband and I have a 6-year-old son. So they are not doing the Mary's Mini with me because there's no reason for them to do it. And it was just a challenge for me and for you guys and for our Plant Fit Meg community. They're still eating their beans and their tofu and other stuff, right? So basically, the way I'm working with them and making it work so that I'm not making two separate meals because I don't like the idea of having to do that. I mean, I could, but um, I'm oh, sorry, I got distracted by the chat. So how I'm working it is they're eating the same things as me, but I'm also making additional things on top of that to bump up their meals. So for example, the other night we had, potatoes and veggies, and that's what I was eating. And then I made refried beans for them. So they had that as well. Things like that. So I'm just adding rather than making two completely separate things. I'm actually doing a what I eat in a day video, and I might show a little bit of what the boys are eating as well, so you guys can see sort of how I'm making it work, because I've had that question a few times. After this is done, how long will it take to eat a potato? Like if I am sick of potatoes, is that sort of what you're getting at? Not sick of potatoes yet. I've been really mixing it up with the type of potatoes I'm eating. I've had, mashed potatoes and my mashed potato balls and hash browns and fries. And so I'm not sick of potatoes yet. We shall see on day 7 if I still feel that way. But yeah, so far so good. I'd love to hear if you guys are sick of your chosen starch yet or if you're still okay with it. I'm also curious about the rice, the people who chose rice. How is that going? Because I suspect that would be a little more limiting, but maybe not. Maybe you're doing amazing with it. So I'd love to hear that. Do I miss beans? I do miss beans. When I made refried beans for the boys, it was a little bit sad. But I made these really yummy potatoes roasted in the oven with some spices, and that was really good. And they ate some of the potatoes too. And so, yeah, I kind of miss them, but at the same time, it's only 7 days, right? So I'm thinking, it's not so bad. It's not as hard as I thought it would be. Again, ask me on day 7, maybe I'll feel differently, but for now, it's going well. All right. Dive into a few more questions here. Um, oh, this next one was, is the challenge difficult? So I kind of just answered that. I'm not finding it super difficult. Yeah, I'm missing a few things, but it's not a huge deal. It's 7 days. So it just depends on your perspective, right? Let's see here. All right, so that was all the Mary's Mini questions. If you guys have more questions about the Mary's Mini or about anything else, feel free to ask, and I will definitely do my best to catch the chat and answer any questions you have. So I'm going to move into some weight loss questions. So someone asked, or I've had this question a bunch, how long did it take for you to lose the weight? And so this is a really complicated answer because initially I did lose a big chunk of weight and I kept it off for a while, but then gradually regained over a couple of years and then lost a bunch again. So it depends on how you look at it. I went, my lighting is weird here. I went vegan, went plant-based and was trying to eat a whole food plant-based diet back in 2016. And then in 2019, I had lost 75 pounds total by then. And then August 2020 is when I hit my lowest weight ever. My lighting. My rogue lighting. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties here. I'm going to drop that light on the floor. Okay, sorry if that was distracting. Yeah, so it took me a few years to really get the weight loss on track and completed, right? So it can take some time, and I had ups and downs in that journey. Whereas digging into more vegan processed foods, I was curious. I wanted to try the meat substitutes and things like that, and also just kind of diving back into junkier foods like chips and candy and things like that. So I think if I had stayed the course, it would have been a much shorter time frame, but that's the way it goes. And I have a few videos with like weight loss timelines and more weight loss information. So I'll leave I think it's already linked below actually, my weight loss playlist. So you can check that out after. How often did I weigh myself during weight loss? Usually about once a week. Sometimes I would do once daily for a while, just out of curiosity and kind of see how things would shift day to day, just because I was curious. But yeah, usually about once a week. And then in terms of taking measurements and taking progress in other ways, I would measure myself about once a month or so. And then I would do progress photos once every 3 months ish, something like that. Does my weight fluctuate? Yes, it does. So my weight isn't like a steady, perfect, like I just live at one particular weight all the time. It does fluctuate 10 pounds ish up and down. And I'm okay with that. I think that's totally normal and totally good and fine. So yeah. I've also had the question, what do I do if my weight goes up now? And if my weight does happen to sort of creep up a little bit more, um, I just kind of try to take a step back and look at, what have I been eating? How has my stress level been? How has my sleep been? And I just try to assess where I'm at and what I've been doing. Maybe I've been a little bit off track and eating more meals out or getting into processed food a bit. That's usually the case, right? If my weight starts to creep up, there's usually a reason for it. There's usually a pretty clear, oh, I've been kind of eating more sweets or things like that. So then I just kind of reel it in and get back to my sort of default setting, my standard, whole food, plant based, healthy diet and lifestyle. Does the Mary's Mini Challenge change your taste buds? It absolutely can, for sure. I think it depends on what you're eating before the Mary's Mini and then what you're eating sort of during the Mary's Mini, but it can absolutely change your taste buds for sure. Um, yeah, I've found that my fruit tastes even sweeter. So that's one thing that I've noticed. I'd love to hear if you guys have noticed any changes with your taste buds or any other changes that you've felt or noticed in the first few days of the challenge. How do I deal with going to other people's house for dinner? So there hasn't been a whole lot of that because of COVID lately. But I tend to, it depends whose house I'm going to, first of all. If it's family, I usually just talk to them in advance and say, hey, well, they know that we're plant based and that we're vegan, and they sort of have a pretty good idea of what we eat and don't eat. So I just have a chat with them and we'll find out what they're serving and just make sure that they're going to have something prepared for us. And if not, I just bring food with me. If it's like a friend's house or a bit of, an acquaintance, a lesser known kind of person, um, I'll just upfront tell them, like, hey, I eat a plant based diet and I'm happy to bring something along with me to eat. You don't have to worry about me. I'll just bring whatever. And if they let me know what they're having, I can kind of match it up to what they're eating. Or I can just do my own thing. I'm really comfortable doing that. I think initially when I first went plant based, I was a lot more nervous and a lot more cautious and, oh, I don't want to offend anybody. And um, I was a lot more nervous in those situations. But now that it's been 5 years, I'm really, really comfortable. And I think for the most part, I would hope for the most part, people will be pretty okay with you bringing your own food and doing your own thing. And if you just say, I'm just giving it a try, use Dr. Lyle's SEAM strategy. It seems to be working for me. My doctor seems to think it's okay, and that can kind of take the pressure off as well. Yeah. You guys let Deborah know if you have other recommendations for how to deal with going over to people's house for dinner, other ideas. All right, so some plant based lifestyle questions. How do you get used to eating simply? So I've had a few comments from people and questions, people asking, how do you just eat sort of plain potatoes, or how do you just eat broccoli fairly plain with, not much to it? And it just takes time. Your taste buds adjust as you eat a whole food plant based diet and as you go through your journey and you make progress. And I would say don't force yourself to eat something that you absolutely hate. If it's something that you don't like, but you do want to incorporate it in ways that you can incorporate it so that you'll enjoy the food because you want to still enjoy your food, even if it's really simple. So, something like mashed potatoes with spinach chopped up into it. And start with just a little bit of spinach so you barely even notice it's there. And then you can kind of work your way up and add more. Um, yeah, and just chopping veggies up really small and mixing it up into things if you're not super keen on veggies, and keeping meals simple. And as you go, well, you get used to that sort of taste and that sort of way of eating, really. The more you do it, the more it just sort of feels normal and natural, and you don't even think about it anymore. Other questions here. Oh, how to change your partner, your spouse, your kids, your family, your friends. So, how do you change their diet? How do you overhaul your family and things like that? So, that's kind of tricky. I'd say if it's your immediate family, if it's your children or your partner or something like that, then have an open conversation. Do your best to share what you're thinking, how you're feeling, why you think it's important to make the switch to a plant based diet, and just why it's important to you and why you feel strongly about it. And have that chat, see how it goes. Be open to that your family might not be thrilled about it, and that's okay. That's something that you can work with over time. Hopefully, they'll be on board and at least with incorporating more plant-based meals your into your life. So start there. And then in terms of extended family and friends and things like that, you really can't change people. If people are interested and open and they want information, then of course share information with them, refer them to YouTube channels that you enjoy, refer them to websites or recipes or but if people are not open and not receptive to it, maybe reserve your energy if it's really listened and just hear it, because it might just be a waste of your time and effort, honestly. I'd love to hear if you guys have another take on that and other opinions, but that's where I'm at. Let's see. What's the biggest change I've experienced going plant based? So, the absolute that I've experienced since going plant-based is my health. So if you are new to the channel, you might not know, but I have dealt with asthma, endometriosis, chronic pain, and chronic, and all of those things are mostly resolved. So I still do have an endometriosis, but I haven't dealt with chronic pain or chronic fatigue in years now, which I'm very happy to say I'm off of and my asthma really only impacts me if it's really cold outside or if I'm going for and my endometriosis is still it's manageable. I used to be in and I was and it was just awful. I was so tired and in so much pain. And now I might still have a bit of pain, but I can go about my day to day and I'll take it easy and I'll relax more, but I can sort of live life normally, which is amazing. And no medications for that either. Love your weight loss maintenance videos. Keep up the excellent work. Love to your family. Oh, thank you, Lulu. Thank you very much. I've also thought this was a good one. If you had to recommend just one plant-based book or one documentary, what would they be? And if you know, you know that I plant-based books. I have a whole plant-based book collection video that you can check out. I'll link it below after the replay. Um, Absolutely love reading and learning about plant-based nutrition and living a plant-based style, and also watching documentaries. That's kind of what got me started. And living was documentaries. So I love so many of them. It's hard to pinpoint just one each. But I would say, in general, if I just pick one of each, it would be the book by Dr. Michael Greger and the documentary Forks Over. If I just had to pick one of each. But I would also look at who is asking for the information, who wants the recommendation, who's curious. Because if you can kind of speak to the person more specifically and sort of pinpoint, what would be meaningful to them, that could be potentially even more impactful So if it's an athlete, for example, if it's someone who's very interested in fitness, maybe I would recommend, the Game Changers and the Plant-Based Athlete. Or, if it's someone who's interested in the health aspect and really wants to hone in and just talk about the health aspect of it, maybe I'd recommend the health, right? So I might sort of cater it to who I'm talking to a little bit more specifically. But yeah, in general, if I had to pick, it would be Let's Die and Forks Over Knives as my one recommendation for a plant-based book and a plant-based documentary. Dried sage and rosemary are excellent on potatoes and reduce need for salt. Cool. Yeah, that sounds delicious. Yum. Love that. I use some of those kind of flavors in my potato leek soup, and that's really, really delicious. Cool. So let me know if you have any more questions. Otherwise, I'll keep plowing through here. Oh, I lost my page. It's okay. Here we go. How are you guys doing on the Mary's Mini? I want to hear. If you're doing the Mary's, leave a comment, something in the chat letting me know how you're doing with it. All right. I also had a few questions about my buzz touch piercings and sort of more personal kind of stuff. So I'll just run through a few of those as well. I don't know how interested or curious you are about these things, but there are questions that I've had here and there. So I'll go ahead and answer them. So someone asked, how often do I buzz my hair? So I use clippers, and I buzz it probably about once a week, once every 5 days or so. Oh, hi Jesse. I'm glad you're able to catch this live too. Um, do I buzz my hair myself? Yes, I do. I do buzz my hair myself with my clippers. Chris does help me from time to time, and he really enjoys buzzing my hair as well. So if he's around, then sometimes he'll help me out with it. But otherwise, I just do it myself, and I just go over it multiple times, again and again, just to make sure I get everywhere. And yeah, it's pretty easy to do. As long as you go over it enough, you'll catch everything. And yeah, it's pretty easy. Oh, hi Joanne. Good to see you too. Oh, this is really fun. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thanks for being here. Do I use a guard when I buzz my hair? So yes, I do use a guard. I use a number 1 guard. I believe it's a 3 millimeter. So yeah, that's what I use. Will I ever cut my hair with a razor? No, probably not. I think that would be too much work, honestly, to cut it with a razor, and too time consuming. Just the risk of cutting myself with the razor and then trying to get the back with a razor, I think would be really difficult. So I don't think I would ever razor it, like go completely bald. Um, but yeah, mostly just because it would be too much work. Like it would take a long time, I think, to get it really clean and not cut myself. And I like the look of having, a little bit of hair, a little bit of fuzz there. So yeah, I use my clippers. And will I grow my hair back? So eventually I probably will grow my hair back at some point. At the moment, I'm really loving the butt, so I'm going to keep it like this a while long. But for the foreseeable, I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to keep my hair length-ish. Uh, I probably will decide to grow it back. We shall see when that happens. Oh, hi, Leah, and hi, Andrea. Great to see you guys. Good to have you here. All right. Let me know if you guys are happy to answer. I'm actually running out of questions here, so we might cut our live live shows short if you guys don't have questions. Or we could just hang out and just chat. That is another great option. Oh, hi, Melissa. Hi. You've been watching the channel for a few months. Today is the day you started whole food plant-based. Amazing. Congratulations. That's awesome. You started whole food plant-based today. Today's a good day, October 3rd, 2021. You will remember this day. That's awesome. That's really, really fun. If you have a few questions, go ahead and leave them in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them, and I'm sure other people in the chat will be happy to be supportive and answer questions as well. We have a really great, really lovely community here. I've been so thrilled and so pleased with our, our little corner of the internet is lovely, and I'm so thankful for that. So, so thankful. Do I exercise every day? No, not fully. I walk every day. You know, I walk around to get around mostly. I dislike driving. We do have a vehicle and we do use it from time to time. But if I can walk somewhere instead of driving the car, I opt to walk. And then in terms of formal exercise activity sort of things, I go to the gym. I lift weights at the gym and I go probably 2 or 3 days a week. Sometimes it's hard to get into classes right now because of COVID restrictions. They have smaller class sizes. So, yeah, I've missed out on some classes that way. But yeah, I try to do that a few days a week. And I guess I do try to incorporate exercise fairly often, fairly frequently. You know, I'll drop and do 10 push ups just randomly, like if we're watching TV or something, and or I go for a pee break and come back, I'll do something. I like to move my body, and I also have my calisthenics bars, which I really love. So I use those sometimes. So yeah, love exercise. We always gym and Google do fun stuff together. I'm chasing my 6-year-old around, so I do. I'm fairly active daily. Where do I live? I live in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Yay! How long have I been whole food plant based? Um, that's an interesting question. I went vegan and went plant based and was trying to do the whole food plant based thing back in 2016. And so I've been trying to do the whole food plant based thing since then. I've gone off track and done the vegan junk food thing for times in between. So it's kind of gone up and down with my health and my weight and with my eating habits. But I started my adventure in 2016. And I'd say I really, really committed to whole food plant based after a really bad flare up of all my symptoms in 2019. Do I live in a small town or in a big city? My town's fairly small. I used to live in Ottawa, Ontario, which is the capital of Canada. And so I went from a larger city to a smaller town, my husband's hometown. So, can I share what we'll be having for Thanksgiving next weekend? You always do tofurkey for the holidays. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you like doing tofurkey for the holidays, that's cool. That's an option. I mean, it's a processed product, but if you're just doing it occasionally and it fits into your lifestyle and your goals, then that's cool. I'll probably have mashed potatoes with gravy and veggies and what else? I might just have that, honestly, or I might do a shepherd's pie. We really like to do shepherd's pie. I have a recipe on the channel if you want to check it out, made with lentils and onion and veggies and potatoes. Really, really yummy. So you could check that out. Joanne lives in Ottawa. Cool. Small world. That's awesome. Do I ever do Brooke Goldner smoothies, and would I consider a 7-day anti-inflammatory challenge? So I did do Brooke Goldner's smoothie, not her smoothie. I did her hypernourishing protocol back in 2019. And so, yes, I do drink those big green smoothies with the flax seeds and tons of water. And the greens are just like up to here. And then there's like this much fruit on the top. Yeah, so I do enjoy those from time to time. And would I consider a 7-day anti-inflammatory challenge? I would consider doing that. Yeah, if you guys wanted to do a Dr. Brooke Goldner protocol challenge for 7 days, I would be open to maybe doing that. I think I'd be more likely to do it in the summertime, if I'm being honest, just because being in Canada and the weather getting colder now, I don't think I'd be very likely to want to do that now. But yeah, that's something for the future that I would definitely consider doing. And I would consider doing other challenges too. If you guys were interested in doing like a dozen challenge or doing another Mary's Mini down the line or another, I know Dr. Will Bolsowitz has like a plant diversity challenge where you try to get, I think it's 30 different types of plants into your diet in a week. I think I might have the numbers wrong, but something along those lines. So yeah, I'd be open to doing other challenges and other things as well. So you guys just let me know what you're interested in and what you might like to see, and I'm open to those things for sure. Shepherd's pie, yes. Oh, Brussels sprouts, yes, I love Brussels sprouts too. I have some in the fridge actually. I got to roast them up. Yes to Dr. G's protocol in the summer. That's when I go deep into her protocol. Cool. Yeah. I definitely have more raw foods in the summer and more smoothies for sure in the summertime. Yeah, Brussels sprouts for Thanksgiving. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, I have Brussels sprouts that I need to make up now, and I'll probably enjoy them again at Thanksgiving time because Brussels sprouts are one of my favorite things. Yeah. So for people who are wondering why we're talking about Thanksgiving right now, Canadian Thanksgiving is October 11th. So our Thanksgiving is coming up very, very soon. So that's why some people have asked about Thanksgiving. All right, cool. Let me know if you have other questions in the chat. I had a few other questions here about tattoos and piercings. Kind of random, but if people were asking, so I'll answer. Um, so some people asked, how many piercings do I have in total? I have 9 piercings. I had to count them up. So I have these gauges in my ears that are 0 gauge, and then I have regular um, ear piercings just beside on each ear. So that's 4. And then I have a little ear piercing up here. I don't know what it's called. You probably can't see it. And I have a little one up here as well. And then I have the 2 in my nose that you guys probably notice, especially the hoop. And I have a belly button piercing as well. I think that's it. I said I have 9. All right. I think I counted wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7. 7 piercings. My bad. That was weird. Okay, and then how many tattoos do I have? I have 4 tattoos. So I have my wrist tattoo that you guys probably see all the time. It's an infinity symbol that I got with Chris, and he got an infinity symbol as well that you might have seen when he's in videos on the channel as well. But his is like a big, dark, tribal looking style infinity symbol. I also have my wedding ring tattoo. So you guys, I don't know if you've noticed that. You might have just thought it was a ring, but it's actually a tattoo. And Chris has a wedding ring tattoo as well. And then I have a little tribal sun on my back, on my lower back. And I also have a foot tattoo that says, oh geez, what does it say? Oh my goodness, I can't even remember what my tattoo says. How terrible was that? Laugh, dance, love. Laugh, dance, love. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a little like tattoo piercing tour at some point if you guys want to see things more close up and want to see what I'm talking about. All right. That was all my FAQs. So if you guys have more questions and you want to hang out, that is awesome. Let's see what you guys are saying. Love piercings and tattoos. Yeah, me too. I'd like to get more tattoos in the future. I'm not sure exactly what. I would like to maybe get something floral, like roses or something like that. Or mandala tattoos are really beautiful. So yeah, I'd love to get more tattoos. People are sharing recipes. Nice. What's in my gravy? Do I have a recipe on the website? Yeah, so my gravy is pretty simple. It's oat flour with some spices and nooch and some miso. and you just whip it up on the stove top. And yes, I do have the recipe on my website, plantfitmeg.com, and it's also featured in some of my other videos. I think in my shepherd's pie video, it's for sure in there, and in one of my what I eat in a day videos. I'll try to find that and leave it in the replay in the description box for the replay. What's my favorite potato? Um, I guess yellow potatoes would be my favorite if I had to pick just one, but I also love sweet potatoes. Those are one of my favorite things with just like a little bit of cinnamon on top or some cocoa powder. That's really, really good. I love lots of color in tattoos. Yeah, I actually really love lots of color in tattoos on other people. I think it looks so cool and so beautiful, but I think for mine, I'm just gonna stick with black. Black and like line work and things like that, shading and stuff like that. I would love to do a Mary's Mini after Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah, that would be good timing as well to do a Mary's Mini after the Thanksgiving. Yeah, you could use my challenge videos as inspiration and do that after Thanksgiving. That'd be really fun, Leah. Yeah. So appreciate your recipes and channel. Oh, thank you, Val. Thank you. That's really sweet. Which Thanksgiving are you talking about? Canadian or US? Oh, Leah's Canadian. Yeah. Oh, she just answered. To be honest, that's my fear. Am I going to miss it? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Am I going to miss what? How do you make beets taste better? Oh, beets. I haven't really experimented too much with beets, to be honest. Um, yeah, I haven't bought beets this season and I haven't played around with them too much. So if you guys have any recommendations for Misty for how to make beets taste good, you can leave her a recommendation and maybe I'll give it a go as well because I haven't really played around with it. Yeah, Melissa, let us know what you're thinking you might miss, and we can maybe come up with some possible solutions for you or different ideas. How long did it take me to lose the weight? I did sort of answer that earlier in this live stream. Complicated answer. Long story short, it kind of took me from 2016 to 2019 to lose most of the weight. With me going up and down and getting into processed foods on and off. So yeah, it took some time for sure. I've seen some beet hummus recipes. Yeah, beet hummus is really popular. I've actually made beet hummus, but not with beets themselves, just with beetroot powder, and it makes the hummus pink. And so that was really fun. I think we did that for Valentine's Day, if I'm remembering correctly. There's a video on the channel if you want to check it out. Grate raw beets into salads, saute them. Nice. I might have to try that. I might need to grab some beets and try to play around with them and make them delicious. Oh, and adding quinoa. Good. Very nice. All right, guys, let me know if you have any last questions or anything else you want to say about the Mary's Mini or anything like that. If you guys let me know how you're doing with the Mary's Mini or what kind of things you might want to see in terms of my Instagram and Facebook posts, because I am doing posts on Instagram and Facebook daily during the challenge. So if you let me know sort of what you want to see, if you want to see more kind of what I eat in a day stuff, or if you want to see recipes, or if you have ideas and thoughts of what you'd like to see, then for sure let me know and I'll try to make that happen. I am working on a what I eat in a day video today, which will be coming out on YouTube on Wednesday. I might try to push it actually and put it out on Tuesday, just so it's a little bit earlier while the challenge is still going. But yeah. Is this live session 1 hour long? Yep, that was the plan, was to have it be about an hour long. So yeah, if you guys want to hang out for a few more minutes or ask any other questions, or if you have any suggestions for other things you'd like to see on the channel after the Mary's Mini is done, yeah, that would be really cool. Seems very quiet at my house. Oh, Riordan and Chris are playing in another room. So they're just kind of down a hall and in another space in another room. So they're just playing quietly. I think they're playing Lego together. So they're here and they're having fun. Thank you. You're a wonderful person. Thank you for the inspiration. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions about your newfound lifestyle, your whole food plant based diet, let me know. Love what I eat in a day and recipes. How about a recipe from your son? That would be really funny. That would be fun. Yeah, maybe I was thinking of doing a video with recipes from Riordan, but I'm a little more cautious about, honestly, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm a little more cautious about putting Riordan on the channel because I had a response video to one of my videos from an anti-vegan style kind of channel. And I wouldn't care really. I mean, I would care, honestly. I'm very sensitive, but I mean, it wouldn't have bothered me if it had just been content about me, but it was related to Riordan and raising him the way that I'm raising him and things like that. So I'm a little more cautious about putting him on the channel, honestly, after that. It gives me pause. But I know you guys love to see him and he loves being on the channel and stuff like that. So I'm trying to figure out how to make that work so that everyone's happy and comfortable with it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Do I use cheese sauce during the Mary's Mini? Is it okay to use tahini during the challenge? Yeah, so I have actually, I'll have a little spoiler alert. I have been using cheese sauce, and what I've done is I've been using my own cheese sauce, my nut-free nacho cheese. And instead of using oats, I've been using steamed potato in the cheese sauce. So I will share that in either what I eat in a day or in one of my posts this week. But yeah, you've heard it here first. I have been using cheese sauce and I've been making it with potato instead of oats. And is it okay to use tahini during the challenge? It's not technically part of the challenge to have tahini or nut butters or seed butters, but I think if you're having a tiny amount, maybe as part of like a salad dressing or something like that, probably fine. It's probably not a big deal. They are playing very quietly. I would be worried if Riordan was alone playing that quietly. I'd be worried, but he's with Chris, so he's in good hands. Uh, Thank you for all you do. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Janice. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, Val. I love the challenges. Cool. Once you've reached your desired weight, how much do you expect it to fluctuate from day to day? Um, that's interesting. I don't weigh myself daily anymore, but I think from day to day, maybe a poundish, a couple pounds, a few pounds. It also depends on like that time of the month and hormones and other factors, right? How much water you have, if you've gone pee first before or poop before weighing yourself. So if you're wearing clothes or not, or all that kind of stuff, like it adds those things add and reduce your weight. So yeah, I wouldn't get too caught up with a few pounds up and down. If it starts to be, 5, 6, 7 pounds up, then maybe it's time to sort of assess and see what you're doing and see if there's something you need to tweak, or if you're still feeling good and, then it's probably not a huge deal. Yeah, Jesse. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about having Rye on the channel after that experience. So he's such a delightful young man. Thank you, Val. Yeah, he's a really sweet kid. We're so lucky that he's such an adorable and sweet child. Riordan always makes me smile. Oh, thank you, Michelle. He makes me smile too. He's such a sweetheart. Potato-based cheese sauce is perfectly fine as part of a Mary's Mini. Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And there's tons. Like I did my recipe just taking out the oats and replacing it with potato, and I think I used a little bit more potato than I would with the oats. But there are tons of other potato-based cheese sauce recipes, other content creators as well. I think Chuck from Brand New Vegan has one that uses potato and carrot. And yeah, there are a bunch of other people who make cheese sauces, so you could always check that out as well. Do I celebrate the holidays with family? Do I find it challenging? Yeah, I do celebrate the holidays with family. Last year was weird. Last couple years, I guess, have been weird because of COVID. But typically, yes, I do celebrate the holidays with family. My mom is on the whole food plant based train, so that is very helpful. So when I go to her place, and my mom and dad are there together, but my mom is very whole food plant based, and then my dad's like kind of dipping his toe in the water. So that makes it easy that they're kind of already on board. And then with my in laws, we just bring our own food. Yeah. So we don't really find it challenging. It takes a little bit of time, like a little bit of forethought to sort of plan out what we're going to bring or what we're going to do. But yeah, it always works out. And we just try to not focus on the food as much, honestly. We try to focus on spending the time together and chatting and maybe playing a board game or doing something active if we're able to. So yeah, we try not to focus on the food too much. Enjoy the food, just not have it be sort of the primary focus. Really enjoying the Mary's Mini. Love your leek and potato soup with lots of veggies. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm thinking of making my potato leek soup for the challenge, and that should be really yummy. Haven't made it yet this season, so it'll be good. Did my sweet cravings go away? Um, I'm not sure what you're referring to, like during the Mary's Mini challenge or just in general after being plant-based, or I'm not too sure. I think the more that you eat green vegetables and eat whole food plant-based, then your craving for sweet kind of diminishes, and then things that didn't taste sweet before taste really, really sweet. Like fruit tastes really sweet, or dried fruit tastes like candy, like it tastes so good. And if someone had told me that 5 years ago, I'd be like, "You're nuts. Like that's not a real thing." I wouldn't have believed it, but your taste buds really do change a lot. So, yeah. I weigh myself every day. It becomes quite obvious what the how what I ate the day before affects me. Easy to get off track. Yeah, yeah. And if weighing yourself every day works for you and you feel good with it, totally do it. I'm very much a do what works for you kind of person. So I'll never tell someone to throw the scale away or to weigh yourself once a day or you must weigh yourself once a week or whatever. I think it can shift and it can vary person to person and even time frame to time frame. Like I've had times in life when I just did not weigh myself at all and it just wasn't good for my mental health and I just didn't do it. And then there have been times when I've done it daily and I've been happy with that and it was just curiosity. It was just an experiment, right? To see where I was at. Jenny, hey, sorry I'm late. Hey, good to see you, Jenny. Hello. Yeah, salt can impact your weight. That's true. You guys are talking about being over 55 and it being maybe a bit more difficult. Yeah, fair enough. For sure. 55 years young. Yes. We're all unique and need to find our own path to success. Absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely believe that. I think if you can look to other people for inspiration and if you can look to other people to get ideas and, oh, maybe I'll try that or I hadn't thought of it that way or things like that, that can be really, really helpful. But I don't think it's wise to look at someone's progress or look at exactly what someone's doing and try to copy it to a T. I don't think that tends to work out very well. And it's better to carve your own path. And if there's a plan that you want to follow, if there's a specific doctor that you really enjoy or a specific plan that really speaks to you, if you're someone who wants to do Eat to Live or the Starch Solution or Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen, and you have a specific, um, outline of what you'd like to do, then that's awesome and go for it and give it a go and try it. And if it works for you, great, keep doing it. And if not, then you make small tweaks and you make it work for you. And of course, I always recommend within the context of a whole food plant based diet as much as possible. I like weighing myself every day. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. The weight comes on really easily and comes off very slowly. That's very true and very, very accurate. Absolutely. All right. Well, we've been going for a little over an hour now, and it seems like you guys don't have any other questions for me. If you do have questions, if you're watching the replay, leave me questions in the comment section below. Let me know if there are any particular topics or particular videos you're interested in seeing after the Mary's Mini Challenge is done. And if you want to mini challenge, it's going until October 7th. So you can join time. And if you're watching after that date, you could try to do a Mary's Mini Challenge and just use my Mary's Mini Challenge playlist as inspiration. So yeah, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I will talk to you guys soon. I want to thank you so much for being here. Doing a live show is scary, especially without Chris, but it was really fun to hang out and chat and answer some FAQs and answer your questions live. So I'm hoping to do live chats a little more often, and maybe some with Chris and some by myself. It's always fun to have Chris around to sort of bounce things off of, and he's always really fun. But thank you guys so much for being here, for taking time out of your day, and for watching the channel and supporting the channel. I really appreciate you so much, and our community is amazing. I love it. I love our little Plant Fit Meg corner of the internet is so lovely. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Have an awesome day. Bye.